Let's bring in walkaway spokesperson and political commentator Natalie Beisner, along with the author of What's Killing America, Seattle Talk radio host Jason Rance. Great to have both of you on. Natalie, to you first. Here is Newsom on his podcast talking about, what's it going to be about? Watch.
More important than anything else, I'll be talking directly with you, the listener. Real conversations. What's going on with the cost of eggs? What are the impacts, real impacts to you around tariffs? What power does an executive order really have? And what's really going on inside of DOGE?
Makes me laugh that a California podcast by the California governor is tackling national topics like tariffs and Trump and you name it.
Yeah, you said it. He's trying to run for president. He also has no business doing a podcast because he is still the governor. This seems to me like something you would do when you are retiring. And I think he wants to change the conversation because the conversation is again about recalling him, helmed by Mel Gibson this time. And we were all upset at him for doing a podcast, I think, as the fires were breaking out. So I would rather him tackle California issues and do it directly, not talking. He also is just not authentic. I don't think he's trying to pull off that new media thing, but he's not real. He's fake. So.
Yeah. Meantime, Jason, here's the media going after Elon Musk at the cabinet meeting.
This is a dangerous precedent that's being set. It's embarrassing to see 55 minutes and you don't hear from a single cabinet member, even the vice president, but you hear from Elon Musk. It's embarrassing, but it's also dangerous.
Musk is unelected, as we all know, unconfirmed, not a member of the cabinet. He was there, though, yet he's seemingly as important as any cabinet member in that room.
I think we should bring up the picture of Jill Biden at the cabinet meeting with Joe Biden, where nobody said a word about that. But now it is a big deal, Jason.
Yeah, it's really interesting because they complain about Elon Musk having all of this power, and yet he's standing there talking to them, being transparent, and yet that also doesn't satisfy them. They want to hear from him, but they also don't want to hear from him. I guess they just want him in certain circumstances, but not others. You know, the problem, I think, for Democrats right now is Elon Musk is popular. What he's doing, at least, is popular. And the larger the spotlight they place on him, the worse it is for Democrats because they're hearing his message. And I don't know anyone who could hear him from today and come away from that and say, well, he sounds unreasonable. He's not someone who's responsible. They're going to listen to that and enjoy it even more.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Here's CNN's conservative Scott Jennings on Trump and transparency. Watch.
In the first month of the Trump administration, the president took 1,009 questions. Hardly dictatorial behavior. Same stat for Joe Biden, 141. And I would remind you all that in 2023, the administration revoked the hard passes of 442 journalists. And at the time, the White House Correspondents Association took, quote, a non-committal stance. So if you're worried about transparency, Trump is being far more transparent.
It's amazing to me that CNN keeps doubling down on this hypocrisy. It's kind of, they keep going after these same subjects day in and day out and not even acknowledging that a lot of this stuff is working.
Yeah, Trace, I think they need to get their messaging straight. Is he a dictator, as we've been hearing, or is it President Musk? Because they kind of don't seem to go together. And the press secretary has been very clear that it's a privilege to cover the White House from the press briefing room, and not every journalist has that. And that's the way that it's always been. And Scott Jennings is absolutely right that the Biden administration revoked those 440 press passes, and the Trump administration gave them back. And these so-called journalists don't actually behave like journalists. They have no objectivity. So it just seems ironic to me when they get outraged when they're not treated the way they think they have a right to be treated.
Yeah. Meantime, you are near the northern border, so I thought you would tackle this whole Sonny Hostin saying the following here, Jason.
What's fascinating to me is that, yes, he ran on immigration, and he ran really on the southern border because we know we also border Canada, and that's actually the largest border, but they're not really going into Canada and looking for those Canadian people that are kind of jumping back and forth.
I mean, your thoughts. I just take it from you to lead us down the path here, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, TV's dumbest lawyer is being dumb on TV. This is what she does. And I have no clue what in God's name it is she's talking about. She does understand the fact that we're talking about tariffs with Canada as well, because they're not actually doing enough at the border. The main focus has been on the southern border because that's where the people are coming in. That's where the actual threat, the biggest threat, the largest threat actually is. That she can't figure that out is more a reflection of her obsession on race. She thinks, by the way, all people in Canada are white and that's okay for them to come over. Apparently there's no non-white people in Canada.
Yeah. Jason Rantz, Natalie Beisner, thank you both.
Thanks.